Stream. My name is Elise. Happy Friday night. Best Life Friday. Troll School. You can see it that way. Tonight I'm going to be reading an article and leading a discussion around the increasing cost of being single. I think it's a relevant conversation for everybody, not just single people, but also people in relationships. To understand the dynamics within the system we're working within and trying to survive within. And what we learn here, we can put towards our own lives and live our best life possible. Hey, WWE Mom, thank you so much for coming in. Wait, what? You gave me a Hearts of Flutter? I'm so sorry I missed that. Thank you for the Hearts of Flutter. Welcome in. Welcome to my stream. My name is Elise. It's so nice to meet you. I was just about to start drinking some tea. I am a tea importer. I'm a tea expert. My entire life is about tea. I travel all over the world for tea, and I stream about all of that work and all of that travel. So if that is something that interests you, if tea interests you, give me a follow, come back. And here on PocoChat, if you become a core fan, you are sent free tea in the mail. I send tea in the mail to all my core fans, and the higher of a fan you become, the more tea you receive. The tea that I'll be drinking today, I just want to jump in and start drinking this. This is actually not a tea technically. What I'll be drinking today is a Spearmint. This is an Herbal Infusion. Spearmint. This was actually, thank you for the follow, WWE Mom. This is actually a gift that was sent to me by Groot up here. This was grown and harvested and dried by our friend Groot, and he shipped it to me. So I'm going to be giving this a try, brewing it in my Gaiwan. It's a lot of leaf, but that's because it's a very fluffy. So I'm just going to fit all of this into my Gaiwan. It may seem like it's too much, but it's just the right amount. So here, I'll show you what it looks like. Perfect. This is called a Gaiwan. This is the quintessential Chinese tea brewing vessel. What do I recommend for COVID? If I had to recommend a tea for COVID, which I don't want to, and I don't think it's appropriate for me to make any kind of recommendation for health claims that don't exist and aren't approved by the FDA. But I could share with you science that I've read. Hey Montana, welcome in. Nice to meet you. Tiger, nice to meet you as well. Oh, elderberry is good, but that's not tea, that's an herb. She asked about tea. And there actually is a tea that I believe would be very beneficial for the problems involved with COVID. Again, this is not a health claim. This is not going to cure COVID, but or any cold or flu, anything that's irritating to the respiratory system. There is research out of China that says that the polyphenols that exist in black tea are actually ingredients that are extracted for inhalers, for asthma inhalers. And you can get it, you can receive that polyphenol from drinking brewed black tea. So not a health claim that is going to cure you or anything like that, but it could be soothing. It could be soothing on the throat, but not curing anything. But if I had to, but generally in traditional Chinese medicine, tea is a key ingredient. It's a key medicine used by practitioners of traditional Chinese medicine. They use it as a proactive medicine versus a reactive medicine, which a lot of people in Western society, we've been conditioned to think about medicine as a reactive practice versus something. Oh, vodka works. Groot, you're funny. Oh, Eric, you think it's risky? That's why I'm not making any claim, Eric. I'm just I'm just saying that that's science. Like, that's the only science that I would feel comfortable mentioning when talking about COVID or flu or cold or anything. I have my tea science, my tea research friend on Facebook calling me out. But that's what he does, Tea Sleuth. Tea Sleuth always be doing that stuff. So I'm just using some freshly boiled water here. The thing with herbal infusions is that you can use pretty hot water temperatures, and you're not really going to over-extract the leaf, over-extract too much tannins or too much caffeine, which tends to make tea astringent or bitter. But hey, Eric, it's good to see you. I'm happy to see you here. This is actually an interesting stream tonight, Best Life Friday. Kayla actually shared this article with me, which is titled "The Increasing Cost of Being Single in This Country." And so I thought it would be kind of interesting to look over and have a discussion about, you know, like this being an issue which could potentially be affecting, you know, our approach to forming relationships or, you know, thinking about relationships and whatnot. So I hope you decide to stick around, Eric. You are totally welcome. Okay, so as I was saying, tea by traditional Chinese practitioners, Chinese medicine practitioners, it's a proactive medicine which balances your energies. So actually in China, like when you do become sick, the doctor will tell you not to drink tea. You shouldn't drink tea. Single forever. Well, cool. Hey, this will be a fun conversation for you. Yeah, we're gonna on Friday nights I do troll school or do, you know, this Best Life Friday session where we like look deep into a subject and try to like have discussion and discourse and realize things for ourselves, for our own lives, to live our best life. And so yeah, today I'm going to talk about being single because I think that's important too. Love and sex, like we talk about those subjects on Friday nights. But yeah, tonight we're going to talk about being single. So yeah, the tea balances your energy. While when you get sick, the doctor will usually prescribe very specific herbs to be infused into a soup, a very rich soup, which, you know, that you would have to go, that's whenever the herbs become very specific. But, you know, all tea comes from one plant, the Camellia sinensis plant. You get black, white, oolong, pu'er, green, yellow tea, all from that one plant. It's just how it's processed in the varieties that differentiates those types of teas. But each one of those types yields a very different chemical makeup, flavor, experience, texture, and that's what makes tea. That's what makes tea fascinating. Hey Brandy, congrats on becoming a 100 level mini fan. Alright, so if you want to see the infused leaf, the wet leaf here, this is the wet leaf. Ooh, that is strong. Oh my goodness. That is something to like open up all of the sinuses group. Oh, that's spearmint. This was just pure spearmint. All right, we had a question. Tea is horse paste according to CNN. You know, I don't know what that means. Come on, come on, come on. It's not a joke. Let me know. You got a link? You wanna link to the CNN article? I'd be interested in checking that out. All right. Yeah, so, you know, like, there are certainly other things that can be very soothing for you to enjoy while you're sick that don't have to be prescribed. Ah, thank you, Brandy! Thank you! Thank you! Awesome! Yeah, drink some tea. Alright, so this is my infused tea. You can see the color of it. Very nice looking. Merry Christmas, Brandy. Oh, that's yummy, Groot. Oh, it's so nice. Thank you, Groot. Thank you for that kind gift. Oh, that's like just what I needed. You want a link to the article? Heck yeah, Eric, let me do that. I'm gonna do that for everybody. I'm gonna put it in chat for everybody. So if y'all wanna read this article on your own time or you wanna follow along with us, of course I will have the article on the screen. So You'll be able to read it during the stream. Oh, thank you for the happy. Cheers, right? Cheers. Yeah, usually I drink tea on stream while I'm doing this, but you know, it's already 9:20 at night. I don't want to be drinking tea so late. Try to get some good sleep tonight. All right, so this is the article here. It's in Vox. You'll see in the link. Oh, I did not put it here on Reddit. Or is it not letting me? Oh, that's interesting. Reddit is not letting me put the link. I don't know why. Sorry, y'all. But it's in Vox, and the article is titled "The Escalating Costs of Being Single in America. Why is life in this country so hostile to single people?" Brandy, thank you for the genius. This published on December 2nd by Anne Helen Peterson. Actually, Peterson's my last name. Isn't that a coincidence? That is cool. Like, Peterson spelled the same way too, because my last name is spelled S-E-N, which is unique. Hostile to poor people. Your chocolate mint is still growing in your mini greenhouse. Awesome, Gru. Yeah, I look forward to trying the chocolate one, but this one's really good. The spearmint's super good. I love the sensation it's giving to the throat. It's really nice. Okay, all right. So think about your household's monthly expenses. There are the big ticket items, your rent or mortgage, your health care, maybe a student loan. Then there's the smaller stuff, the utility bills, the internet and phone bills, Netflix, Hulu, and all your other streaming subscriptions. If you drive a car, there's gas and insurance. If you take the subway, there's a public transit pass. You pay for food and household items like toilet paper and garbage bags and light bulbs. You buy furniture, sheets, and dishes. Now imagine paying for all those things completely on your own. If you live by yourself or as a single parent or caregiver, you don't have to imagine. There is your life, all the expenses of existing in society on one set of shoulders. For more than 40 million people who live in this kind of single income household, it's also become increasingly untenable. When we talk about all the ways it's become harder and harder for people to find solid financial footing in the middle class, we have to talk about how our society is still set up in a way that makes it much easier for single people to fall through the cracks. First, we need to define a clunky but essential term. Single or solo living may or may not be partnered with someone in the long or short term, and they may or may not be parents, but they all live and bear the responsibility of their bills alone. Some are retired, some are widowed or divorced, some are in long-distance relationships that require two households, some are lived alone, purposefully or regretfully, their entire lives. Good night, Brandy. Oh, spearmint, not peppermint. Thank you, Gru. There are many routes to and reasons for arriving at the single and solo living life, and more people are living it than ever before. As of 2021, 28% of Americans live alone. Back in 1960, it was just 13%. By 1980, it was 23%. An additional 11 million households are headed by a single parent, a number of that has tripled since 1965. Overall, 31% of U.S. adults identify today as single, defined not as married, living with a partner, or in a committed relationship. The 31% figure holds true for both men and women in the aggregate, but varies significantly by race and sexual orientation. According to Pew's most recent survey data, 47% of Black adults are single compared to 28% of white adults and 27% of Hispanic adults. 47% of adults who identify as gay, lesbian, or bisexual are single compared to 29% of straight adults. Welcome in, Golbahari and Aram. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. Then there's the age breakdown. Women live significantly longer and over their lifetimes make less money. Men, as a general rule, are far more likely to be single when they're young and marry later, or for a second time, and stay married until their deaths. The reverse is true for women. They're more likely to marry young, but then end up divorced or widowed and living alone as they age. Given these and other trends, including the high cost of aging, the fact that women, and black women in particular, make significantly less money over their lifetimes, it is women, and again black women in particular, who often bear the biggest financial load of single life. You can attribute some of these increases to no-fault divorce, which began to standardize in the 1970s the continued aging of boomers, who are growing old but not always together, and college-educated people in particular delaying marriage until later in life. Add in the sexual revolution, the feminist movement, the mass incarceration of black men, the inability for same-sex couples to marry one another in some states, safely cohabitate until relatively recently, and declining rates of religious observance, and you have a whole slew of intersecting reasons people are single or solo living at far greater rates than ever before. To be clear, these numbers are increasingly because society has shifted to accommodate the single or solo living. Quite the contrary, they are increasing even though the United States is still organized in pretty much every way to accommodate and facilitate the lives of partnered and cohabitating people, particularly married people. We don't seem to like or respect single people and their choices. It doesn't matter how many songs or books or movies seen to champion the triumphs of the single person. Our societal actions, the way we support and reward people, suggest otherwise. Heck yeah, that's so true. Unbelievable true. Single people should, in theory, be the purest embodiment of Americans' values of self-sufficiency and individualism. That they're not speaks to the fact that we don't venerate the individual, we venerate the individual family. The family fosters the conditions for the individual's success. The spouse helps create the conditions that make success possible. Children, at least theoretically, keep the individual grounded, focused, and humble, which is why so many narratives of individual success either start with the family already firmly in place, or is the case, as is the case with so many rom-coms and memoirs from Sex and the City to How to Be Single and ending there. Oh, hey Eric. Yeah, Bitcoin. Bitcoin couldn't help himself, he just had to jump up here. The celebrated single life is in truth incredibly narrow. For women, you have to be actively and successfully in search of partnership, speaking wealthy and above scrutiny, and a self-sacrificing mother. Confirmed bachelors can sometimes get a pass so long as they don't move in with their parents. So do the elderly, the widowed, but only for a brief window of time, and the very young. Other single and solo living people are still stigmatized in various and overlapping ways depending on their age, class, race, and sexual identity. We don't call single or unmarried people spinsters, deviants, or social problems anymore, at least not explicitly. But that underlying hostility to single and solo living people is everywhere. This was a difficulty for me when I revisited Rebecca Trainster's All the Single Ladies in preparation for this article. The book, chock full of stories of how women have carved successful and meaningful unpartnered lives for themselves, includes a clear-eyed look at the costs of exclusion. Yet it is still an advertisement of sort and a way of life. Reading it as I did after combing through the stories of women who'd written to me about the small and insurmountable barriers to stability made me realize just how much we've learned to excuse. Just because single people have managed to survive and even thrive in the face of societal hostility does not mean that they have not suffered enduring consequences or that others do not suffer them today. In the fall of 2019, 28-year-old Amelia was splitting a 2-bedroom apartment with a friend in Los Angeles. Like a lot of people, she needed a roommate to drive down costs. But having a roommate is not a cure-all for the instability of single life. People move out, sometimes to live with partners or on their own. For many, living with a roommate means always waiting for your situation to change, without your say when the lease comes up. Amelia was getting by, but she could never save up to pay off her credit card bills or pay down her student loans, let alone build an emergency fund. Amelia, like the other people I spoke to for this story, is being referred to by first name only to protect her privacy around personal finances. Teasley says, I'd rather live with a companion and not a relationship than live alone. Hey, so Teasley, that's true. That's like what this paragraph is is talking about, yeah, that we do. But, you know, even companions, roommates, buddies that are going to help us with the bills, they're unpredictable. And, you know, it can be challenging to make a dedicated companion and not a roommate. Yeah, that's an interesting distinction. I think it's really important to define that and open yourself up for that. Because there's stigma around that, T-Sleuth. Don't you think? Do you think that there's stigma around having like a companion partner? Like maybe it's a non-romantic person that you share your resources with. I mean, I've heard of stories of people even getting married. They even get married. Yarisu, hajimemashite, hajimemashite. Konnichiwa. Watashi no namae wa Erisu desu. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Welcome. Eigo wa daijoubu desu ka? Hi, Phoenix. Welcome in. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. Not a green card marriage, T-Sleuth, but like, you know, like there's certainly like benefits that come from being married. Like tax benefits, healthcare benefits, like, you know, getting financing for your house. Like there are a lot of benefits. あ、でもごめんください。少し日本語を話せます。私は、漢字、カタカナだけできます。ひらがな、or no, ひらがな、カタカナだけ、できます。でも、漢字できない。すみません。So yours is that every month's bills are paid and then food and what's important. At your job, getting married is a reason to support getting married. See, there's a benefit. There's a benefit of being getting married. Celery. Not college, though. Oh, that's interesting. 大丈夫。OK, 大丈夫。いいです。今、少し早い英語を話します。すみません。でも、楽しい、少し面白い、多分。OK、ここ、私の友達グループは、グループがいます。今、ここでグループ。彼はトロルです。Easy, you can see that, like you can see that being like stigmatized, like having a stigma. And that's too bad, you know, because like that's a thing that like I'd be into doing. Roommates can be difficult. Definitely. Roommates are difficult. They're unreliable. They're unpredictable. And you're constantly having to like replace them. Daijoubu Yarisu follow shimasu. She says she's a listener. Ah, Moana no tomodachi desu. Ah, Moana ga suki. Kanojo wa watashi no tomodachi desu. Yeah, I speak a little bit of Japanese enough to, hey, Devin Smith, arf, arf. Just married people being looked at different government-wise. Yeah, like the government treats you differently. That's what this article is about. It's definitely about that. You'd be up for a romantic-less friendship marriage. Yeah, I've heard of this happening, T-Sleuth. I've heard of it being successful and people being happy with it. Like, and they don't even do it to like share a house together. Maybe they could share a house together, but you know, they want to live autonomous lives, but you know, they're just best friends that are like always going to support each other. I'm doing really well, Devin. Thanks for stopping by. We're talking about being single. I'm reading an article. Stick around. I got some Poke Boxes for you. All right, then she lost her job, and after 4 months of searching without success, she had no other option than to move back into her parents' home in Las Vegas. Oh, sounds familiar. She eventually found a white-collar knowledge industry job that she could do remotely and watched as her financial footing got more solid with each month. Ah, Mindy! Hello, welcome. Nearly 2 years later, Amelia has paid off several of her student loans and her car loan, amassed an emergency fund, and saved enough for a small down payment on a house. You can say that's because she was no longer paying rent. Part of it, though, was just living with her parents. She rotated paying for groceries, borrowed their car when hers needed repair, and didn't have to go further into credit card debt while she continued to look for a job. She had a glimpse, in other words, of what it might be like to share financial responsibilities with a partner, not just split utilities and rent with a roommate. Now that Amelia is moving out of her own, though, the cost of living alone will start to show up, like quiet guests arriving from the back door at a party. You don't even realize how much work you're doing to host them until you look at the house across the street and see that they have the same number of guests, but there are 2 hosts working in concert to handle all the tasks and cover all the costs. That's kind of the reverse of what happened to Rachel, 37, when she and her husband divorced 3 years ago. If anything will throw your basic beliefs about the nuclear family and the partnered American dream out the window, Rachel told me. It's an emotionally devastating breakup coinciding with the birth of your child. Shortly after the divorce, Rachel's brother told her that the house next door to him was about to go up for sale. The rents in Bellingham, the mid-sized Washington State College town where they both lived, were becoming more unsustainable every year. Soon, buying a house on her public school teacher salary, which was 9 years of experience plus a bonus for teaching in a Title I school, adds up to be around $100,000 a year. Might be out of reach. So Rachel did something impulsive. She cashed out the entirety of her IRA, borrowed some money from her parents and her ex-husband, and bought the house, which she shares with her 5-year-old son. Something else lives there too, the giant scary beast. That is her mortgage payment. I can make it month to month, but any sort of savings or emergency fund is very off the table, Rachel explained. That's the huge difference between being partnered and being solo, the ability to build savings. And I feel like an emergency happened, there would be some sort of safety net. There's an off-cited stat that only 39% of Americans think they could cover a $1,000 emergency expense. But a 2018 Federal Reserve study showed that just 15% of single parents had 3 months of expenses on hand, and 41% didn't have more than $400 in savings. Oh, that's rough. In many ways, Amelia and Rachel are privileged in the single world. Both have managed to buy their own homes, even if Rachel's case, it also meant mortgaging some of her retirement. For many of the hundreds of people I heard from during my reporting, cobbling together enough for a down payment, let alone qualifying for a mortgage on a single income, feels impossible. Same too for having kids on one's own or going through a process to adopt. Caitlin, who's 33 and lives in the Washington, D.C. area, is asexual and aromantic and is not looking to be partnered. She could get a roommate, which might help with some of the monthly bills, but between DC's high cost of living and the student loan she's only recently been able to get below 6 figures, it would still take her years to save up enough for a down payment. As she put it, not being able to save much, or even just depending on the savings of one person, means that home buying and having kids are just a fantasy. And that's on a pre-tax salary of around $100,000 a year. There's pressure on single moms to have houses. That's true. Oh, that sucks, Salary. Yeah, moms totally have that extra pressure of, like, being a good mom, which, yeah. Hey, how's it going? Mohagem? My name is Elise. I saw you come in. Thank you for visiting. Thank you for coming by. We are just reading an article about the cost of being single. Thank you for the heart. Carolyn, who's 46, lives in Vermont and has been in a relationship with someone for 10 years. A number of factors, including logistics and jobs and divorces, have meant that they've never been able to live together, and she's not sure that she wants to. Yet life is so freaking expensive, she said. With 2 people contributing, perhaps you could actually take a vacation. I could probably pay for things like haircuts or new clothes without getting into debt. And of course, the finances are only half of the story. There's also the cost of time and energy. Whether it's time spent on the phone to find someone to fix the roof, the energy it takes to plan a college tour for my kid, or the stress of a heating bill. Having someone to share that with would be nearly invaluable. In my free time, I like to travel. I like to cook. Yeah, I'm into tea, as Groot says. She's into tea. Yes, it's true. I'm super into tea. Thank you for the heart, Mohagim. Yeah, see? I'm into tea. Hey Jay Bafu, welcome in. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. Oh, yeah, that's my dog Bitcoin. He's a baby. Thank you for the winter heart. Dolomite, welcome back in. Good to see you. Thank you. Harto arigato. Yarisu arigato. These issues aren't just about personal attitudes. American society is structurally antagonistic towards single and solo living people. Some of this isn't deliberate, as households cost a baseline amount of money to maintain, and that amount is lessened when the burden is shared by more than one person. There are other forms of antagonism too deeply embedded in the infrastructure of everyday life. Even as more couples than ever cohabitate without being married, so many of the structural privileges of partnerships still revolve around the institution of marriage. The U.S. census still conceives of the status of single as anyone who is not at present married. First, there's the tax code. Most people don't realize that until 1948, everyone filed income taxes alone, regardless of marital status. The policy changed in the hope of discouraging income shifting, in which, say, a husband who makes $100,000 a year. Thank you for the heart skill. Thank you. Dowdy, welcome in. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. Hee hee. Getting me to sing hee hee. Riding dragon. Thank you for the heart. A husband who was making $100,000 would transfer $50,000 of the money to their wife, ensuring that both of them were taxed at a lower rate. This period was also, it should be noted, when the income tax rate for top earners were between 80 and 90%. You were trying to send a picture of your roommate, Jonelle? Are you talking about your dog? Are you talking about Chai? Joint filing was created as a means to replace income shifting with income splitting. Thank you for the great... I do not eat sushi from an American supermarket, Minfy. Do you? Do you like the market sushi? Don't know. Cute. Hee hee. Thank you for the heart. Oh, Bitcoin, you gotta do that one. Alright, you got your row. You don't eat it either? Hey, Minfy, you know, I used to work at a sushi factory. There was like, you know, at the grocery store, they have the trays of sushi that you're talking about. Those are actually made in a factory in bulk. Oh, you want more? Bitcoin, he wants more. Alright, there you go. Thanks for your 10 fan noise. In Japan, at the supermarket, konbini onigiri, yeah, I ate that. Yep. Is that considered a supermarket sushi? No, but hey, the factory that I worked at, oh, sushi. Oishi, katta. Arigato. No, in the United States. I worked at the factory in California. I worked at the factory in California, and they distributed sushi pretty much all the way up until the Midwest, like all the United States. And we made all kinds of sushi, but it was kind of cool. Yeah, konbini stuff is way better than here. Yeah, I would eat it. You know, I just think it's like way overpriced for the quality that it is here for grocery store sushi. I'd rather go to a sushi place, a restaurant, and pay double and get quality that's 10 times better. But yeah, konbini onigiri in Japan, very good. I eat that, yes. For sure, but I never worked at the factory in Japan, only in California. The scenario was pretty great for married people, particularly married people with one income. For single people, less great. As legal scholar Anne Alstock argues, the vast majority of adults in the time were either married or planning to get married. The median age for first marriage in 1950 was 23 for men and 20 for women. Could you believe that? With 78% of adults married and many of the unmarried widowed. Who would protest? By the end of the 1960s, that foundational assumption of the tax code began to falter. Divorce rates were slowly climbing and more women were entering the workforce. Congress decided to modify the tax brackets so that joint filers wouldn't have quite as large a tax benefit. That modification created its own problem, the so-called marriage penalty for couples where both spouses were working for pay outside the home, which often pushes them to a higher tax bracket than if they were filing as single people. The steak called Yellowtail, right? Are you calling him Yellowtail? Or are you talking about Sushi Group? Oh, you missed the Kombini food? American dogu. That was my favorite Kombini food. American dogu. The marriage penalty has faded in recent years, particularly after the 2017 Republican tax. Hey, Silent World, welcome and nice to meet you. John Paul, welcome and nice to meet you. My name is Elise. What do I like about Japan? Yeah, I like food. I like tea. I like art. Yeah, there's a lot of things I like about Japan. Progressive tax codes are intended, at least theoretically, to ensure equitable distribution of the cost of maintaining civilization. They should, again, theoretically be readjusted when a certain group begins to shoulder a disproportionate amount of that burden, like, for instance, single or divorced people. That's not what happened, not for couples with two earners and not for the growing number of single or solo households. The reality of how people live and who works has changed. The policy has not kept pace. The same principle holds true for Social Security, which was created first and foremost as a means of protecting the elderly from living out of their final years in a literal poorhouse. The idea was simple. You and your employers pay in part of your salary now, and then when you retire, you have enough to survive. Oh, Cool Cat's back. Yeah, Memphi's here, Cool Cat. Hey, Nick VIP, welcome in. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. And Samurai. You like the Samurai, Cool Cat? The architects of the program were aware that it would only work if you also created a means for women who never worked for pay, housewives. Those whose paid work was ineligible for Social Security, domestic workers, and those whose work was intermittent and always paid less than men's to have access to their husband benefits, either as partners in retirement or in case of death or disability. They needed a system that acknowledged the patriarchal formation both of the home and of paid work. So they offered women who reached Social Security age a choice. You can claim your own benefits, which are probably paltry or non-existent. You can claim a half benefit as a spouse, or if your husband dies, you can claim full survivor's benefits. Thank you for the love, Nick. But what happened to divorced women? Initially, they've been married for 20 years before divorcing. You could still claim that half benefit. When more and more people started getting divorced, Congress reduced the minimum marriage length to 10 years. That was a useful correction, but it still limits the better benefit. That is, the ability to access a man's benefit, which, given the enduring wage gap, is almost always higher to people who are men or who are or married to men for a significant period. Hi, Akib. Welcome in. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. Between 1990 and 2009, for example, the number of women who reached retirement age without claim to a man's benefits increased from 7.5% to 16.2%. For black women, it went from 13.4% to 33.9%. To be clear, most of these women did have benefits of their own, but the pay gap and the fact that women are far more likely to work in feminized fields with lower pay mean they almost certainly receive less than a man in their demographic would have. In 2019, the average overall benefit of a retired man was $1,671 a month, compared to $1,337 for a woman. A divorced woman's benefit would likely still be larger than half benefit she received from her ex-husband, but a widowed woman's whole survivor benefit would presumably be higher than her own, especially if she took any time out of the workforce to care for children or elders. Oh, thank you, Cool Cat. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. It's annoying for you to talk about being single? All this is complicated and something that most people don't think about until they start to near retirement age, or their parents do. It matters because it again underlines the structure of American life that's prioritized and favored. It's not that Social Security necessarily penalizes people who are single. In fact, it has been modified several times to account for the newly single. The problem then is that it's still organized around the understanding that American women will get and stay married to a man at some point in their lives, even as that understanding has ceased to hold true for millions. All right, T Sleuth, have a good night. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with us. All right, Bitcoin, go. Go to your bed. Go to your bed, please. Go to your bed. As Suzanne Kahn notes in Divorce American Style, Fighting for American Women's Economic Citizenship in the Neoliberal Era, oh, Cool Cat, it's okay. I know. Cool Cat, it's okay. Mimpy, thank you. Cock, welcome in. Nice to meet you. Pensions, health insurance, benefits, IRAs, all of them are organized to best accommodate the needs of married or widowed family units. If you're married, you can be added to a spouse's insurance policy, which allows spouses to drop in and out of the workforce as needed or seek out jobs that don't provide full-time insurance. Single people, particularly single people with chronic health conditions, have fewer options even after the rollout of Obamacare. In many states, the available options on the marketplace exchange can be prohibitively expensive and need fixing. Cool Cat, thank you for the Christmas trees. Bruce says, I was making more than my wife when she died, and I'm still making more than she does. Of course, you're a man, and this is a patriarchy. Thank you for the sweat drop, Pinky Nick. No duh, Groot. No duh. Then there's a sheer amount of benefits conferred by many workplaces to people who have children. Oh, thank you for the surfing. Yeah, opportunity meter. Congrats on the 10 fan noise, Nick. Thank you for the hearts. Parental leave is fantastic. We should have more of it, but there should also be forms of leave, caregiver or not, for people who choose not to have children. The Family and Medical Leave Act allows many workers unpaid time off to recover from a serious injury or care for a family member, but it does not allow people to take time off for care of someone who is not legally family. Paid family and sick leave protections have gone in and out in the Build Back Better social spending legislation that's moving through Congress. The current proposal would expand leave to include family by blood or affinity. Like, is she working, Gru, or are you talking about y'all's, like, Social Security? Oh, good, Easy. I think Easy was hanging out here with us a bit ago. He's gone. We got a bunch of first-timers here, though. That's cool. These policies and programs were created to decrease suffering, to lessen the effects of catastrophe or pandemic, to protect people from descending into poverty, yet in too many cases they are built in a way that suggests that single or solo living people are expected to provide or pay for their own safety nets. Well, then how is she making as much as you now? I thought you were talking about your current wife. Yeah, okay, I get it. Back in 2013, Lisa Arnold and Christina Campbell persuasively laid off the big costs of being single in the Atlantic. Using various calculations based on housing, healthcare taxes, and Social Security income, they estimated that an unmarried woman making around $40,000 in 2010 could pay around $500,000 more over a lifetime than a married woman. An unmarried woman making $80,000 could pay more than $1 million. That's a very expensive life choice. If those numbers are hard to believe, a chart on the wage and salary income of married versus unmarried men and women might be useful to showing another big gap. Let's check this out. The marriage and gender income gap. Wages and salary income of employed men and women with a high school diploma. Yeah, married men definitely make the most money. What do y'all think could be making this, influencing this? It's true, Cool Cat. I see, Group. Hey, so Group, are you collecting your wife's social security, your deceased wife's social security? TJ Poplock, welcome in. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. You're giving away money? Me giving away? Are you kidding? Fuck no. I'm single. I'm a single woman. I'm the lowest on this chart. Actually, that's interesting. So single woman actually seems to be making more than married women. But that could be just because married women are typically not working. Or, you know, in the conventional patriarchal system, single women have to work. But yeah, basically, I don't make a lot of money. See, so what I think would be interesting to see is, like, at these points, like, so what are the average of single men, single women? And then, is it double here? You know, it doesn't start to more than double until you're like older, in your 40s. I don't know. Oh yeah, thank you. It's warm and cozy. Free the birds. Very warm and cozy in my cabin tonight. I appreciate you stopping by and hanging out. It's fake news though, my cabin. So, you know, don't believe what they say. Some nurses are 14 or less an hour. That's true. Teachers too. Dude, there's so many careers that are like undervalued. It's really sad, actually. All right. So, do married men earn more because they're married, or do people who earn more get married more often? That's a difficult question, but it's worthwhile to parse who exactly is getting married and staying that way. As I wrote in October, there's a popular conception that the divorce rate is actually decreasing. From a high of 22.6% in 1980 to 14.9% today. While this statistic is true in the aggregate, it observes significant trends, particularly with education levels. Among other factors, same-sex marriage has been legal long enough to directly compare broader trends. A 2015 Pew report estimated that women with a bachelor's degree have a 78% chance of their marriage lasting 20 years or longer. For women with some college, the number drops to 48%. And 40% of women who've completed high school or less. While divorce trends have decreased for people with a college degree, they decreased, leveled off, and then began rising again in the 1990s for people without one. The more education you have, the more likely you are to make more money. The more money you make, the more likely you are to be able to patch over some of the potholes that can doom a marriage. In 2015, 25% of low-income adults between the ages of 18 and 55 were married, compared with 39% of lower middle-class adults and 56% of families making above medium income. Thank you, Gizmo. Nice cup of tea there. Cheers to you. I'm drinking some spearmint tea. Nice and soothing on the throat on this cold evening in my toasty lodge. Then there are the thousands of people who would like to be married but can't afford to be because additional income from a spouse would result in taking away the disability, supplemental nutrition assistance program, or child support benefits that make life sustainable. For them, marriage might be financially stabilizing down the line, but not stabilizing enough to make up for the loss of their safety nets in the short term. fruit. Why do you say things like that? Marriage is stabilizing then, but largely for people who are already stable or on the route to it. It's become a tool of class reproduction, benefiting those who always benefited from within the American class hierarchy, financially stable white men and the woman married to them. The current situation is an example of economist Jacob Hacker's theory of policy drift, in which situations that policy was created to serve have changed significantly, but the policy itself has failed to adapt, expand, or respond to the new reality. Alstott, the legal scholar, describes this gap as one between legal fiction and social reality, one that undermines the ability of the tax and transfer system to achieve any of the range of objectives, whether fostering individual freedom, aiding the poor, or shoring up the traditional family. Put differently, our designers no longer do what they were intended to do. The refusal to build a real safety net for people who aren't partnered means that some people may feel pressure to do anything to be and stay partnered, even if it means enduring psychological or physical abuse. It also means that single people deal with all the same things that anyone without a safety net deals with. They often stay in bad jobs, they take fewer entrepreneurial risks, they are less likely to follow opportunities that people with a spousal safety net could. They simply don't have the stability that makes it not just possible but also conceivable to do so much else. It seems clear if we want to actually support liberty or lift people out of poverty or even make it easier for people to have traditional or non-traditional families that we need to reconsider the way we organize tax policy and public benefits. Some single people... Jorge, thank you for the shock. Some single people love being single. Some are fairly ambivalent about it. Others despise it. None of these postures are made easier when your way of life is implicitly and explicitly understood as a sort of cultural or financial backwater to be avoided at all costs. If you want to start thinking about how to make it easier for single people to find financial stability, we have to start understanding single life as something that's not just thinkable, not just survivable, but actually desirable. Right now, that idea is too threatened to the institution of marriage and by extension a pillar of the United States as we know it. The integrity of that pillar has been crumbled for years as marriage, even with its myriad financial and cultural benefits, has ceased to prove its worth. Today, people want options for partnership that are more flexible and more like actual partnerships. You can cultivate that within a marriage, sure, but it becomes ironically often takes more work than trying to figure out your own rules outside of it. Thank you for the like. Jorge and Poplock. D. Brown, welcome in. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. Some people crave something more than what marriage can provide. They wonder, what would it look like to create small systems of care for one another that go beyond one other individual? What if we could figure out how to acknowledge that the most important person in our lives isn't always someone bound to us by family or sexual relationship? How can we think about housing, healthcare, caregiving, and work in ways that actually acknowledge and actively include single and solo living people, not as afterthoughts, but as the third, if not more, of the population that they are? There's a whole lot of straight white single people today can learn from past and present work in queer communities, the Black Power movement, and immigrant communities, where members have long-form systems of mutual aid, many of whom were forced to come up with these systems because the existing legal and religious systems excluded them from participation. There's also a lot to learn from other countries where single populations thrive. Denmark, for example, has offered 3 cycles of IVF to residents up to the age of 40 since 2007, leading to a sharp increase of solomor or elective single mothers. That policy interlocks with the safety net that makes other parts of single parenting life easier. Significant maternity leave, affordable and accessible daycare, and universal health care. More stability means fewer behavioral and educational problems associated with kids who grew up in a single parent home, the vast majority of which can be traced back not to the fact that they only had one parent, but that one's parent's finances were unstable because of either a divorce or unplanned pregnancy. Giving single people access to parenthood, and just as importantly, the assurance of support once it happens for whatever reason, could dramatically change the experience of single parenting. Welcome in, Alex. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. Denmark isn't perfect, and I'm always aware of holding up Scandinavian policy simply because the paradigm shift necessary to bring the United States closer to that reality can often feel altogether out of reach. But it's still worth thinking about what makes Denmark less hostile to single people generally. Part of this real feeling of community support, 95% of Danes feel that they could rely on someone in a time of need, but that's also true of 91% of Americans. So part of it's a safety net that readily expands in contracts for all. Not just the middle class, not just those in poverty, not just people who can and want to work full time, not just non-disabled or gender conforming or straight people or partnered people, but all people simply because they are people. Poco fam, welcome in. Oh, Jennifer, you're drunk. Awesome. Party time. Woohoo. Marriage today is no longer the primary and normative state of adult Americans. Altstadt explains in the 2013 paper for Yale Review. It's no longer the expected route to maturity or the exclusive site for sex, romance, and child rearing. It has been, in sociologist terms, deinstitutionalized. When a society fails to make policy adaptive to its new institutions, its new ways of life, it puts our fingers on the scales to favor a certain class of people. We can say we cherish single people or that their contributions to society. We can yell that they are no more or less worthy of success and stability. Until policy shifts to reflect that reality, those sentiments will remain hollow. Oh, you're going to bed, Gru? Gonna go sleep in your tent? Ah, Juju, welcome in. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. People will continue to bemoan the erosion of the traditional family and the decline in birth rate because that is what people do when they feel the world is changing, and they personally are not, maybe out of fear, but maybe too out of the lack of imagination. We're already a country full of people forging new institutions of partnership, of care, of parenting. Imagine what we would look like. Imagine the days in which we'd thrive if we decided to actually support them. Oh, you gonna go get your 4 hours of sleep? All right, Groot. We love you. Hey, Slippy Swanson. Welcome in. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. So what do y'all think? What do y'all think? How are we going to support them single people? It's a tough one. Good night, Groot. Thank you for your support. Thanks for hanging out today. T. Haskins, welcome in. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. Hey Jim, how you doing? Jim, did you catch any of the article? Hey Peaches and Cream, nice to meet you. My name is Elise. Welcome in. Did you catch any of the article, Jim? We were talking about the increasing pressure for single people to get married for financial reasons. They can work longer. Like more hours? Are you fucking kidding me? If that's what you mean, that's my response to that, yeah. Yeah, the cost of living and the ability to save is significantly higher for married people. And that's what this article was about. So it was just giving some recommendations of policy that could potentially... Hey, sweet lady Amp, welcome in. Good to see you again. Thank you for the like. Yeah, tough as a single parent. Pepper Red, welcome. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. Oh, you play ukulele and guitar? Cool, I'm gonna follow you. I'll come to one of your streams. Pepper Red. Oh, thank you, Jim. It's warm and cozy here. And Jim, I am drinking Spearmint. I brewed it in my Gaiwan. This is Spearmint that was grown and harvested by our friend Groot from Pogocha. Ah, Queen, thank you for the like. Wild, thank you for the like. A change of pace. What is the cost to be said boss? I like that E-stance. Hey Tiffany, welcome in. Welcome to Pokechaw. Welcome to my stream. Thanks for choosing my stream. My name is Elise. We're talking about being single. The cost of being single. Hey Blue Bunny, welcome in. Nice to meet you. Welcome to Pokechaw. Welcome to my stream. My name is Elise. I drink tea. What's the art below? So this is the article I just finished reading. The escalating cost of being single in America. So it was about an hour-long read. It was a long one. So we just read it. Like it highlights. It highlights the significant difference in opportunity of saving money. Yeah, it's the title of an article. Yeah, so this is just like the title photo. I'm just happy in the picture. Yeah, we just finished reading that. I don't know, do you have any thoughts on it? I know you weren't here for the article, but I mean, it just gave some anecdotes and, you know, some facts and some figures around why it's more expensive to be single, or why it's more difficult to save and to support ourselves into retirement when we're single. That it's actually rigged against single people. And what sucks is, like, not only are single people economically oppressed, but they're culturally repressed as well. I mean, I guess it's the same thing for poor people or other marginalized people. Recently single with 2 dogs. Okay, so how does this make you feel? Like, are you worried? Are you, like, finding yourself having to work even harder than you did before? Hey Silky, welcome back in. Good to see you again, friend. Rena, welcome in. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. Yeah, Tiffany, get your Pogo Boxes. Tiffany, I'm gonna give you a follow. Thanks for coming by. Are you gonna be doing streaming at all, Tiffany? H Fletch, I'm so sorry. I missed all your challenge. I just don't feel good about that. I'm so sorry, H Fletch. I'm so sorry. You had more money in the bank when you were single. Well, you know, like, this is a problem that affects women a lot more than men, because, like, men already make more in the workplace. I'm gonna start tomorrow. Awesome. You're 25. Hey, Flesh, happy birthday. Oh, Jennifer's drinking. She's getting litty litty. Thanks for the follow, Tiffany. I've been good, Silky. You're enjoying your alone time. You know, yeah, those are compromises. And it's like what this article was saying is that sometimes women will sacrifice their happiness, they'll sacrifice their ability to run away from a toxic or abusive situation because of the fear of the financial struggle or of having to work harder or having to work at all, because like there are actually tax benefits to single income households. And so a lot of times, and because when men make more on average in the workplace, married women who tend to marry younger are also motivated to not work. And so like there's that fear of like being single would mean that you'd have to do something you never did before, which can be hell of intimidating. Something sexy, thanks for the like. Hey, Malhadinga. Welcome in. Yeah, I'm single. I've always been single. I've never been married. I've never even been close to married. I am, I came from a privileged upbringing, in that high level education was accessible, and also aggressive work ethic was taught to me from a young age. So I don't think that I'm. So you're having vodka now, Jennifer? You're mixing your vodka with your tequila? That's dangerous. H question for like. But like this article was also saying that people are choosing to be single and they are putting in the extra work because they're choosing to do that. Yet, the system still is disadvantaged. Yeah, someone's turning up, that's for sure, Jennifer. Yeah, I'm hanging out in my toasty log cabin. It's the holidays. Don't trust what you see on TV, though. You should never. I don't recommend it. Like you said, more time. I don't know what you mean by that, more time. You mean like more hours out of the day? Or like more time of their life? Like they can work until they die. If you're having Patron, Rena, it's Friday night. And Mike's Hard Lemonade, Jennifer. Well, I guess, yeah, Mike's Hard Lemonade has vodka in it. Awesome, H-Hush. Well, I look forward to coming to your next stream and seeing you in your new lighting. That'll be great. Pop Luck! Congrats on level 2. I mean, okay, so there's an assumption. If you're single, you have all the energy to chase the goal if you have a goal. East Dance, I'm gonna admit something very vulnerable here. My singleness and the stigma attached to it, coming from my family, coming from my colleagues, coming from my friends, it wears me down. So you're talking about all this extra energy, it wears me the fuck down. I'm like depressed sometimes. At the end of the day, like, you're all on your own and you're the only person to manage your finances, so you end up putting in the work to make it happen. But I wouldn't say that I have more energy. I mean, there's days, and the older I get, the more depleted I become, right? Because when I was younger and single, there was never a stigma. Now that I'm older and single, full disclosure, I'm 38 years old. So, that's coming up the age. I think like anything beyond 35, in other countries it's even worse. Like in China, women that are, 25, 26 are starting to be disrespected by their community because of their singleness. It can be really depleting on you. It can make you feel like a loser. It can make you feel like you should just give up. I'll admit that I do have a lot of energy. I run an international tech company alone by myself. And I do it on a very bootstrapping kind of budget. And I do credit my singleness and, kind of the scrappiness that I've become accustomed to. To how I've been able to continuously put in the work. Thank you, Tiffany. I appreciate that. Nerdy Winter, welcome back in. It's good to see you again, friend. Yeah, we're talking about being single and the cost of being single and kind of the economic and cultural oppression that happens in being single. And men deal with it too. It's not just women. I was talking with my brother about this, and he's also single, and he's 4 years older than me, and he says that he's constantly having to deal with his colleagues and his boss and people that he interacts with on a daily, thinking something's wrong with them, saying, "What's wrong with you? If you're still single, what's wrong with you?" And not sharing a bathroom is awesome. I fucking know about that. I've certainly been in, hey Craig, welcome back in, good to see you. I've been in live-in relationships with people before. So I've shared a bathroom with someone before. Not a fan of that. Totally understand and appreciate that. Thanks for the follow, Gemini. Oscar911, welcome in, nice to meet you. This is Bitcoin the dog. Okay, I'm not single. I've got a dog. I admit. I've got a little poop. Yeah, there's definitely advantages to be single. But what this article talked about and what we're talking about now is the systemic issues with being single. Togo is with William Dafoe. Oh, cool. I'll check it out. You say, you feel like there's no stigma, you'd be more likely to chase the goal. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. If I didn't have my parents constantly, calling me a loser and telling me that I'm not doing it right, and telling me that I need to go get love and find a husband, yeah, I would be getting a lot better sleep. Let's put it that way. And I'll say that I do feel privileged in that that's pretty much my greatest source of anxiety and trauma in my life. It really is. And so thank goodness for that. I'm grateful for that because, I understand my traumas could be worse. But at the same time, it's still trauma and it's still awesome. Stuart, thanks for coming by and saying hi. It's still trauma, it's still valid, and it's still affecting my life. If I didn't have the trauma. If I didn't have that trauma, I feel like, yeah, I would be performing better in life. Greatness is to build in solitude. Yeah, I mean, for some people, that's the way they're meant to be. Oh, it's different from women and men, but I did want to say that men get part of that stigma too. We're the only two streamers on. Awesome. Going hard on a Friday night. That's great. Jim says his neighbor that's 52 has never been married. She's driven for long distance biking and bike racing. That's awesome. Oh, you feel like you're in the Matrix? Awesome. Well, hey, that's pretty good because Matrix is coming in. You know Kung Fu? I know Kung Fu too. I do Kung Fu Tea. Kung Fu Cha. What did I like about the article? About the article itself and how it was written. I liked the anecdotes in the stories, because for people, especially men, that can't relate to these stories at all, it's a ghost town, Stuart. Wow. But what I didn't like about the story is that there wasn't, and maybe it's just like the audience this article was written for, because this is a Vox article, so this Vox is like very palatable, accessible, you know, writing, journalism. But I would have liked, especially in talking about like the tax, like seeing more numbers on that, seeing more like maybe even examples to show you what like a marriage versus a single tax would look like in numbers. There was only one chart in the article, and the chart, which I'll show y'all. Let's see, where's that chart? The chart was like income. The pay gap here, which I like charts like this. I like things like this, and I would have liked to see a visualization of what, you know, the difference for the tax between married people and single people, because they talked about it and they said that that's like a big problem in you know, the cost benefit of being married versus single. But I would have liked to see more numbers, but I'll leave this chart up. This is a useful chart for y'all to see. Reddit. It's like the income difference between married men, single men, married women, single women. It seems as if single men and single women make very similar incomes. Where the income is very different is on married men, which is more likely to be single household incomes versus, you know, that's why they have to make more. All right, see you later, Tiffany. Thanks for stopping by, introducing yourself. I look forward to knowing more about you. All right, so Jim asked the question, does being driven get in the way of relationships? I mean, I guess I could just answer that based on my own personal experience. It does and it doesn't. I would say that it does more so than doesn't, which really fucking sucks. Anytime that like I get into a relationship, like in very few cases were the men like completely comfortable with like me having my own thing going on. I think I've only been in 2 relationships where the men were completely like unfazed by it. I made more money than them. Yeah, I worked, you know, more things and was busier. And, you know, we, one of them I lived with, and he was great because he would pick up around the house in areas that, you know, I wasn't able to support on. It's like Kevin Federline and Britney Spears. Hey, that one didn't work out. Let's not talk about that one. That's funny. Yeah, but like, especially as I've gotten older, it's a big fucking problem. It's a big fucking problem for men. Even if they are more successful than me, it's a problem for them. And that's patriarchy. Oprah and the dude. Oprah is not married. You're talking about what's his name? Statman? That guy? They're not married. They're just like life buddies. I don't even know. It's never even been like confirmed if they're romantic. Stedman. Yeah, they're a non-married partner. Yeah, she would. She would totally have that prenup. It's become more of a problem now that my neighbor is older. Like, how so a problem? Like a problem for her to date? Or a problem for her to be financially stable? Like, what are you talking about, Jim? Yeah. I mean, this article did ask that. Like, are married people making more money, or is making more money causing people to get married? But this chart is not it. This chart is just the pay gap. Like, this is just like the salary gap. I wish that this article would have included another chart that would show the savings gap, because the savings gap involves like your taxes, like your ability to save. And then, like that ends up being your long-term financial stability, more so than just your income. This chart here is just income difference. So like a single man or woman could be making more income, but then they're going to be in like a higher tax bracket. And I wish that this article would have included some visualizations of what that actually looks like. Like, what does your tax bracket look like when you make a certain amount single versus married, and what does your ability to save look like? You've yet to meet a truly happy married man. Oh, both, Jim. Oh, that's too bad. William, welcome in. Nice to meet you. That's too bad, Jim. Well, I think, people are going to complain regardless. But the numbers, don't lie. Married couples. And like this article is mostly about women. It's mostly about women. Like, women are the ones that, especially black women, get the brunt of this. You should expand the people, yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jim says that he's a happily married man. Your wife and you got married so you can make a decision for each other if something went wrong, so our families would stay out of it. Mm-hmm. That's smart, Jim. Did you get married recently, Jim? You're the only one. Wow. I'm happily unmarried. The only thing that makes me unhappy is, like, the stigma shit. It makes me really unhappy. And that's how this article ended. It's like, just let them be. Like, we should support them, we should make better tax programs for single people, but ultimately, we just need to let them be. Oh, wow, Jim, yeah. Yeah, you've been married for a while, Jim. And Jim is watching on Twitch, by the way, so Reddit, y'all, are confused about I keep talking to Jim. Yeah, Jim is, happily married for several years. How much is that? Almost 40 years now. 37 years. Wow. Yeah, Jim from the office. Yeah, I don't think him and Pam been married that long. Yeah, I guess I never saw... Oh, are you Space Drifter? You're back, or I give you a follow. Alright, see you later, H-Fletch. Thanks for coming by and hanging out. Love you. Can't wait to go see you. You are Space Drifter. Okay, welcome back. It's good to see you. Are you gonna stream again? Thanks for the follow. Astro Zombie. Oh, that's the name you were using before, right? Didn't you have like a YouTube with that name? Yeah, I guess I kind of fell out of watching The Office after he got married with Pam. I always felt uncomfortable with that relationship anyway. Like the whole, like the beginning of the series, because, oh, were you? For what? What happened? Why'd you get blocked? Yeah, I always felt uncomfortable with that relationship because, like, the relationship she had with the other guy that they worked with, and I don't know, I just felt like she wasn't a very good communicator. And I guess, like, when her and Jim got together and, like, we were supposed to be all happy, like, I wasn't happy about that. I'm like, oh, this is toxic. I mean, she was toxic already with her other guy. Oh. Sorry that happened. Astro Zombie. Hey, the Executioner, welcome in. How are you tonight? They just needed a will they or won't they romantic storyline. Yeah, I feel like the equivalent characters in the UK show were more solid people, more solid couple. Was she kind of toxic, that girl? I remember she was a lot more funny. She was a lot funnier than Pam. Pam wasn't very funny. Jim's funny, but she's not very funny. You know, another like pop culture thing that I'm seeing now that I think could also affect this stigma around being single or not being single, or oh, you think so? Yeah, I'm single. I'm so single, and I want to be single. I don't have to be single. I'm not like completely against it. I just like have a really high standard for what I would want out of like a long-term partnership. And so yeah, that's what's kept me single for so long. But yeah, I would love to be in a log cabin, a toasty log cabin with the beautiful snow outside. I would love that. With or without someone else. Hey, congrats on level 4, Astro Zombie. Thank you for the heart. Potter, welcome in. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. Oh, 10 fan noise. Hell yeah. Thank you for the winter hearts, Astro Zombie. No, but I've been hearing, you know, people talk about you'd be ideal in Vegas. Yeah, you would. Vegas is a cool spot. I like being here. I won't be here forever, but I like being here. What do you want, Bitcoin? What do you need? You need some cuddles? You need to come say hi to everybody? Okay, come on. Hurry up. Okay, come on. Come on. Come on. Oh my god, are you being lazy now? Yeah, you are. Being lazy. Surrounded by desert, yeah. Yeah, the desert is nice. Go for long drives and just look at all the sceneries. It's nice. Yeah, well, I'm not afraid of the opposite, you know? Like, in this article, what they're talking about here is like a legitimate fear that women have of being single. Like, if I don't marry, not only will I be like stigmatized by my community of being useless or being not womanly, but you know, economic stability is really challenging for single women. You know, for me, it's not as challenging. Like, I'm not feeling the pressure financially to do it, but I do feel the pressure by the stigma. You know, you're good looking. What the fuck they always say? You're good looking. Why aren't you married? Something must be wrong with you. You must be what was the one thing I had one guy tell me? This guy didn't even know who I was. He just met me on like a dating app. He like met me and was like, are you unagreeable? Is that what's wrong with you? Oh, you don't like summer hurricanes? Yes. Scary hurricanes. Are you unagreeable? I'm like, well, fuck yeah, I'm unagreeable if you're gonna say that. Oh, man. But no, the new thing that you're hearing, and this is like for married people and single people, is people like developing anxiety around the amount of sex that they're having. Right, so for married couples, like, there's this anxiety, oh, I'm in a sexless marriage, I need to get myself more sex, and, you know, if couples, like married couples, don't put in the work to handle that, which is very difficult, and there's stigma in that, that's gonna, like, put pressure on people to seek out this, like, necessary sex from outside relationships. And then for single people, it may force them or pressure them to put themselves into sexual relationships with people they shouldn't be in sexual relationships because they feel this stigma. You know, and there's freaking doctors backing it up. You know, like there's research being done that they're like, oh, you know, you'll live a longer, healthier life if you have sex 3 to 4 times a week. You know, which sure, there may be some validity to that research, but like bringing that to the forefront of mass media and like putting that into people's heads will give them this anxiety that they need to have that sex. And if they're not having it in their marriage, then they're justified to go find it from somewhere else. And then if they're single, it's going to justify them for being in toxic relationships that they shouldn't be in because they're getting the sex that they need to get for their health and for their mental health. Or, you know, it'll also cause single people to have irresponsible, risky sexual interactions. Hey, Rochelle, welcome in. Good to see you. Happy Friday night. We're talking about being single. You don't feel alone? Good. Good for you. Yeah, you know, you shouldn't feel alone. Like when and people that like are allowing that stigma to like get to the, oh, I'm so alone, I'm so alone, I'm so alone. That can cause you to make risky decisions and behave that's not in your best interests or in the best interests of other people. You know, you may end up hurting other people because of this like stigma that you have. Which a lot of times the feeling that we're lonely is like it's a social construct. It's something that's like, it's a feeling that, it's a feeling that society impacts onto you, influences to you. Because okay, so people go through a breakup and they're feeling like this loneliness, I need to be with someone, loneliness. And they obsess about it. And it causes problems in your life and causes you to make bad decisions or to be depressed. And, you know, once you put in the work, the self-love work, and the self-love work actually pulls through, and you come out the other end of it, and you're like, oh, I'm not feeling lonely. That whole, like, anxiety that I had about being lonely, like, was it even real? Like, where did that come from? Yeah, so Jim, that's something going on. Like, you know, doctors are putting out research saying, you know, you need to have this much sex to be healthy. And then I think about it and I'm like, oh, do I need that much sex? Does that mean the only way that I can get that much sex is if I've got a boyfriend or I've got a partner? Because, you know, I'm definitely not going to be just like sleeping around with whomever just to get that amount of sex for my health. Which some people could be doing. Men in particular could be doing that to justify, you know, promiscuous behavior. Women can do it too. Oh, Astra Zombie, thank you for the good. And then these studies, I've never read into them. I should read into them. Actually, maybe that'll be a good thing to study next week. I don't know if these studies differentiate that you've been unhealthy for years. Chip. See, that's the thing. What the fuck? How, like, who's to say that you're unhealthy? I mean, that's like an ableist thing to do, because like there are people that are in loving relationships but like are disabled and are like physically not able to have sex. So you're gonna tell them, oh yeah, you're less good, you're less healthy because you don't have sex. It's like, no. Okay, so this does make no sense to feel lonely when you're in a relationship with someone, especially when you live with your partner. In no way someone should feel like that means something is wrong. Yeah, I saw that, Rochelle. I guess when I was talking about being lonely, I was talking about like when you go through like a fresh breakup and there's like that like freaking dread of loneliness that you feel. And sometimes like it takes years of being single until you get over. You know, and it's like during periods of like that, like it's really healthy for someone to not have sex. Right? So that they can focus on themselves. And it's like, so during that time, does that mean we're unhealthy? we're not doing the best for our health. You know, I hate that. I want, like, ugh. Because, yeah, it makes me think, oh, shit, I need to be having that much sex. They put the pro in promiscuous. Yeah, so you were talking about people that feel lonely while they're in relationships. Yeah. Or maybe they don't feel lonely, but could be experiencing other forms of trauma, or experiencing you know, like them not truly being themselves. Yeah, I'm going to. So Astro Zombie, I'll probably research that next week. Like, what is a healthy sexual activity? Yeah, because you may research, or you may look into this research and find out that, like, masturbation can be inclusive. Because, yeah, when you hear, you know, influencers or reporters talk about it, they all talk about, like, you know, sex in a relationship. Like, oh, what's a healthy amount of sex in your relationship for your health? Right? The worst data graph ever. You don't like this graph, huh? I don't like this graph either. I wanted more. So this is an article we are reading from Vox titled "The Escalating Cost of Being Single in America." It's a long read. It took me about an hour to read it here, and now we're just kind of discussing and talking about it. I liked this image though, the artwork, the title artwork. Health in a relationship is a holistic thing. Yeah. Rochelle, thank you for the shining star. Yeah, like how do we be inclusive of people that have, you know, and then for a woman, like maybe that's data just for men to have a release of their juices, right? Because like the sexual, like the penetrative sexual experience for women is very different from men, right? So like if we're talking about the orgasm, like, are we specifically just talking about the orgasm that's healthy for you, or it's the penetration itself that's healthy for you? I've got to like dive into some of these research studies, because yeah, when you hear like reporters say it or influencers say it, they're just like talking about how we need to be getting sex with other people. We need to be having sex with our partners this much. I'll say, well, what if we're single and we're happy with being single? Yeah, Rochelle, it's the same. Yeah, you're right. It does. But yeah, the point about disabled people that aren't even able to, like, it's not being inclusive of them. If we're saying that your health is dependent upon your sexual activity. And then if you're single and wanting to be single and not wanting to put yourself into like a situationship or into a relationship, then like does this claim by doctors justify promiscuous behavior, which then could lead to bigger health risks than just the health benefit of having sex 4 times a week. You're dead. Welcome in. Nice to meet you. JB Good. Welcome in. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Rochelle. See, and sometimes that happens. So does it mean that you're any less healthy, or you're any less capable of being healthy because you can't? I don't know. So that's one of the other stigmas about being single. It's like, oh, I need a I need a sex partner. Keep me healthy. Women live longer than men? Yeah, you're right. They do, generally. Yeah, more monk and hermit data, please. That's a good point. Right? Oh, so you're telling me, that the monks. Let's not talk about the Catholic version, but you're telling me that the monks aren't healthy because they're living a life of celibacy. I'm sorry, Rochelle. Do you talk, and perhaps do you talk with a therapist about this? Maybe that could help. I'm sorry, Rochelle. Astro Zombie, I'm not too sure. I think that's a very subjective claim. Sure, women think about sex. I think that because of how women are conditioned within patriarchy to value consent, women, this could be something else I could try to research and see if there's data to pack up, but I would think that women, although they may think about sex, they may, they seem to be content, right, Eastans? They are less likely to sexualize somebody else. So, I think that would be the difference between the way that women think about sex versus men thinking about sex. Yeah, Rochelle, I mean, I do offer this space as a vulnerable, safe place to have those kind of conversations and to feel, welcome to share. But, I mean, it's a lot to share here. And I would hope that y'all are finding the clear channels between each other to communicate your feelings on this and be validated, and, perhaps find ways to create resolve. I'm really sorry you're going through that, Rochelle. Everything is so hypersexualized. In society, well, yeah, that's the patriarchy. Oh, so now you feel like you're in a commercial for getting a technical degree at DeVry. Yes. What would I do if I was you? Yeah, I would go talk to a therapist. And I would also be open to some non-traditional suggestions, which having a therapist there as you navigate those things, could help, because if it's just you and your partner trying to navigate those things, maybe the language would be difficult to come up with, and insecurities would get in the way. But if you had a therapist or a third party there to help you navigate, but in many cases I've heard of couples that develop honest polyamorous arrangements to deal with this particular issue you're talking about. Arigato. But it's something that you need. There's something that you need, right? You're missing something, so there's something also that you need. I don't know what your partner needs, but you've kind of communicated what you've needed. So communicating what you need to your partner You need to feel loved. You need to feel wanted. And your partner, may respond to you and say, well, I do need and love you. But because of what they're dealing with, they're not able to show you in the ways that you need. And so what I say, like in polyamorous, if one partner, is asexual or is forced into asexuality in some way through disability or through illness, like it is valid for potentially the sexual partner to ask for that. And working with a therapist would be like a good mediator, to help. Rochelle, thank you for the heart. And yeah, it could be a completely unconventional, non-traditional way for y'all to approach your relationship. But it may be the way. Hello, Lorraine. Esu. Konnichiwa. Genki desu ka? What would make you marry your lover in a heartbeat? What would make me marry my lover in a heartbeat? I think there would be something. There would be something. It would be not only their expressed intent of wanting to have a partnership like how I want a partnership. Because people can say that. I've come to learn that people can say that they want what you want. But then, hey Rochelle, you're a 500 level minivan, yeah! But then in actuality, like there's things in the way of those ideals happening. And I'm at a point now where like I know what I want and what I need in my partnership. And I communicate that to my lovers. And I let them know, hey, either we can do that and that is what I'm looking for, like that's ultimately what I'm looking for. Or, we can have a relationship, be it a friendship or be it, a lover's relationship, with the understanding that that's all it is. But if someone was to say to me in return that they want the same thing and they showed me their own deconstructed misogyny, and that's the hard one. That's the hard one. Then yeah, I would marry them in a heartbeat. Because yeah, people can say they want what I want, but it requires a lack of misogyny. And I have only just recently deconstructed my own misogyny. Okay, I had misogyny before, and that's what's kept me from being married. Because my own misogyny told me that I need to be a strong, independent woman. That was actually misogyny. A lot of like the modern day like feminism, girl power stuff is actually misogynistic. It's actually hateful towards women because it could be, hey Rachel, it's all dependent on what the boundaries are. Rochelle, I'm sorry, not Rachel, Rochelle, it all depends on what the boundaries are. So yeah, if your boundaries are, I don't want you, I don't want you flirting with others, and they were explicitly communicated and then they were disrespected, yes. Now they can be communicated and the other partner, could negotiate. But yeah, it can be cheating, I believe. Hey Jesse, welcome back in. It's good to see you again, friend. Esu-san, anata wa anata wa mikon desu ka? Kekkon desu ka? Kyou wa Mikon no hito ni tsuite hanashimasu. アメリカで未婚の人は、抑圧されたです。I hope you understand. Yeah, people do it. I don't consider, see, so my boundary, I don't consider flirting to be cheating. I have other boundaries though, and it's cheating. And today I had a conversation with a community that I'm a part of about how cheating or lying about doing something that your partner does not consent to, you know, having intimacy, you know. So like one thing is when I'm in a monogamous relationship, which I usually am, you know, if it's not monogamous, it's not a relationship. But if I am in a relationship, which, you know, I like to practice monogamy when it comes to a relationship, I only consent to physical intimacy or to sex if my partner is also not having sex with other people. That's just a boundary that I have, and I communicate that boundary clearly. And so when that person cheats, has sex with someone else, and doesn't tell me about it, not only is he cheating on me and like hurting my feelings or, you know, challenging my insecurities or whatever, yeah, it's muzakashi ne. But he is violating my consent. And by the technical dictionary definition, he is raping me. You know, and people don't put enough severity on that. That like issues of infidelity and issues of cheating, it's not just about jealousy. It's not just about that. It's about like communicating full information so that both parties can make full consent decisions. And, you know, because, yeah, if I don't consent to having sex with someone who is actively flirting with other people, I don't have that boundary, but it could be a valid boundary, then yeah, that also would be an exploitation of your partner's consent. Yeah, Rochelle, that's how it happens for sure. Alright, Reddit, I'm catching up to y'all. I kind of feel like marriage is a dying institution. Things like Tinder and the Metaverse will only accelerate this trend. True. Allow me to translate. Oh dear. Let's translate. The cheese is old and moldy. Where is the bathroom? Micro cheating is the act of cultivating in small ways inappropriate, intimate connections outside of your relationship, according to couples therapist Alicia Munoz. Oh, thank you for sharing. Micro cheating, that's what they call it. Micro cheating, Rochelle. Which for some people, they could consider that, you know, a full violation of their boundary. You gave up finding someone 6.5 years ago. I accept the fact that the vast majority of women don't find me the least bit attractive. Aww. And that the very few that do, I don't find attractive. I'm 65 now, I'm done. Oh, I understand. Am I friends with my exes? I am with some of them, not all of them. But yeah, some of them. I'm not against that. The only ones that I'm not friends with are ones that either they had a boundary and I respect that boundary, that they don't want to be friends with their exes, because some people have that boundary, like I won't be friends with any ex. That's legit. Hey Brian, happy Friday. Yeah, happy midnight. It is freaking midnight. We're talking about the cost of being single, Brian. So yeah, either they chose that they, even if we like left on good terms and could be friends, like they just refused to be friends with exes. Yeah, it's true, Rochelle. We should respect the people that we love and try not to hurt, like actively try not to hurt them. Instead of saying, oh, I wasn't trying to hurt you. Oh, it hurt you? Oh, okay. Well, your problem. You know, like that's how a lot of people respond. It does hurt. It hurts bad. And the other reason why I am not friends with some of my exes, well, just one in particular, well, two, is because they haven't taken accountability of how they've hurt me, either by being dishonest, or, you know, by, you know, doing something a bit more hurtful than just dishonesty. And I have place in my heart for forgiveness for them and for, you know, restoring a friendship with them. But, you know, I require the restoration of that trust through, you know, changed behavior, which I haven't seen from either of those. One of them, like, he came around. I think he got involved in drugs. And he, you know, he's dealing with his own demons and such. So another reason why, you know, maybe I don't have a place as a friend in his life. But I think he like was going through AA or something, because he called me seeking forgiveness and, you know, have like just letting me know that he validates the pain that he caused. But that was like the extent of that. But every other ex I'm friends with. Yeah, it's true. They should be there themselves, and they should also be honest about their sexual activity. That was something else that I talked about on my on the discussion that I created in the community I'm part of, is that like we will face rejection when we're honest, but at least we're gonna have full enthusiastic consent. And so what that's meant for me as a single person that, you know, will be attracted to someone and will want to have a connection with them, I like, before any kind of intimacy happens, I share my full, you know, like energy, like I communicate, you know, my activity, I communicate what I'm looking for, I communicate where I am in life, so they can make the full enthusiastic consensual decision if they want to be intimate with me or not. And I'll be honest, it has caused me to be rejected. I've been rejected by a lot of people. And then not only have I been rejected, I've also been slut shamed. Which, fuck, that sucks. Because it's like, hey, I'm just trying to be the responsible one and make sure that you fully know what you're getting into when you become intimate with me. Most people lie about that shit because they know that they're going to get rejected, so they just don't talk about it. But, you know, instead of that person saying, okay, yeah, I don't consent, and that be it, they have to, like, shame me about it. Call me dirty names, and it's like, fuck that. But it's still valuable to me to, like, share that. Even if it means I'm going to get rejected. And, you know, if they start slut-shaming me, it's like, yeah, you suck, get out of here. I don't want to see you ever again. Toxic. Out of here. It's like a censor, you know, it's like a filter. You know, it's probably helped me avoid a lot of really bad sex, too, so. Yeah. You say, as a dude, I have always found it way more costly. As a dude, I found it way more costly to be in a relationship. I am... Oh my God. Can y'all take a break from that? every time someone surprises. You spend more than when you're a single person. We heard this before. And it's, if you're a man, yeah, it's different than when you're a woman. Unless we're talking about other non-monetary costs. I tried being friends with exes in the past, but after I stopped, my life suddenly became incredibly drama-free and peaceful. Well, yeah, I mean, you can be friends with them and still hold healthy boundaries. Maybe that was the issue. I mean, usually whenever I've had like drama with exes, it's because there's not healthy boundaries there. If I decided I needlessly complicate my life partners, I will revisit that in the future. Listening to this is so oddly therapeutic. Well, thank you. This can be therapeutic. All right, Jim, have a good rest tonight. Thanks for hanging out tonight. I appreciate you. We love you. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay warm. Rust myself. Welcome in. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. My name is Elise. Cheers. Yeah, I mean this article even confirms it, that like women, especially black women, are the ones that bear the blunt of the cost of being single. Yes, it is a real teacup. Here's the motherfucking tea. Tonight I brewed in my lovely Gaiwan a Spearmint. So this is actually an herbal infusion. It's not a tea. It's technically not tea. Tea comes from the Camellia sinensis plant. This is a spearmint, dried spearmint leaf. It made for a lovely beverage to drink while I sit here and chat with y'all. I'm a tea importer. So I do tea. Tea is my life. Sexy Tam, thanks for the like. Ah! Time to get this party started. I'll show myself out. Okay. Okay, so here's a good question. Are people closest around you happily married or in a happy relationship? I don't think that I'm in a position to judge that. Like, I can judge it based on my own standards and my own boundaries, but that's irrelevant. You're asking about happy relationships, happy marriage. I don't know. I don't know what their standards and their boundaries are. Do I know anybody in abusive relationships? Yeah, I mean, I guess even like my parents' relationship, that's probably the one that I've been exposed to the most, right? My parents are still married. They're still together. My dad deals with health issues and my mom is super supportive of him. So, I get to see that, which has turned into quite a healthy, non-abusive relationship. But I've also seen it where, the pressures of patriarchy, turned my dad into a very distant type of father. Which can be interpreted as abusive. My mom definitely felt like where do you find the music? I'm thinking of shooting a late night infomercial. This music slaps. Yeah, so this music is it is royalty free, but I would suggest that you get, permission. This music was given to me by my good friend here in Las Vegas. His name is Sojourner. That's his name, Sojourner. Oh, sorry, I got it upside down for you. Sojourner. He does have a, what do you call that? Spotify. You can find him on Spotify, Sojourner. But if you're really interested in this music, why don't you message me? You can message me here on Reddit, and then I can put you in touch with him, and you can ask him. Yeah, he is. No, he's great. He's a freaking multi-instrumentalist and all this music, and I have freaking hours of it because I just play it in the back of my stream. Because when you stream to like YouTube and to Twitch, they have very strong algorithms for identifying licensed music, so I cannot play it. They'll mute your video, or they'll like, YouTube will straight up delete your videos now. So I have to play royalty music, royalty free. But I have about 9 hours of music on this playlist that he gave me, and it's all custom produced. He custom produced all of it. Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. I'll definitely put you in touch with him, and he's willing to share his music. He's happy to see his music go out into the world. He's not like sharing a lot of it online, so you can't just go rip it somewhere. So you'd have to like get in contact with him about getting the actual files. But I know he'd be down. So yeah, just message me and I'll put you in touch. Or you can email me. Shit. Okay, there we go. That's my email address. Yeah, email me. Barnaby, welcome in. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. Fuck, it's late. I should go. It's like 11:30. You want to build a beautiful ski lodge? Yeah, me too. This is fake. It's totally fake. You can't tell. So fake. Don't believe everything you see on TV. Hey, Jackie420, welcome in. Nice to meet you. My name is Elise. The people, oh, you say it's time to, the people who implore you to get married. Oh, I see. It's a simulated construct like the Matrix. Yeah, this is the Matrix. You have entered the Matrix. Seriously, I should go though. This has been fun tonight. I've enjoyed our conversation. I appreciate y'all letting me be vulnerable and share, you know, my challenges and my traumas around being single. Ultimately, I'm happy to be single, and probably going to be keeping it this way. Yeah, crisp mountain air. This is the metaverse. We're already here. We're fucking here. We're in the metaverse, y'all. Get with it. We're already here. It's already happening. Yeah, Elion, what's up? What's up? Thanks for the like. Yeah, we're in the metaverse. We're so deep. We're so deep in it. Y'all don't even know. Y'all don't even know. What's up? What's up? We're in the metaverse. Welcome to the metaverse. Welcome to my metaverse. This is my metaverse. What unprecedented times. Yes, in the metaverse. Hey, so I'm gonna say something quick about the metaverse, right? Fuck Facebook, fuck Zuck. Watch that get muted on my, because I am streaming to Facebook. I love Facebook. I love Facebook. Thank you for being you, Facebook. You're not the metaverse though. Okay, and even like 3D, like virtual reality spaces that people are equating the metaverse with is not the metaverse. The platform in and of itself, the experience that you have in a virtual reality platform is not the metaverse. The metaverse is the smooth interaction of information, communities, and experiences across several different platforms. Facebook being one of those platforms. Facebook is the platform of discovery. And Twitch is also a platform of experiencing. Roblox is a platform of building. And what the Metaverse is the smooth interaction between the experiences between all those platforms. So that would be your Discord server, the streams that you do to Reddit. There are, virtual reality spaces that I use on my stream, that I will stream like the display capture of what's happening in that world and the conversations happening in that world. So people in the chat of Twitch can interact with the people that are in this virtual world. Like, that is the Metaverse. The Metaverse is kind of like the flow of experiences between all these different platforms, because up until now, apps, social media, like what we have thought of the internet to be, everything was a siloed experience. It was like, oh, my email is over here, my Facebook is over here, my Twitter is over here. The Metaverse is where like your virtual existence on the internet is going to be across a lot of different platforms, but it's going to be one unified experience, one unified set of information. That's all I'll say about the Metaverse today. I'm really passionate about it. All right. I just wanted to show y'all. I can't see my chat when I have the window big like that. It's everything in one place. It's true. But we should not have it in one centralized place. It doesn't have to be in one place. It's like figuratively all in one place. Literally, it's in lots of different places. Oh, Bitcoin's excited. He's playing now. It'll always be expansive too. Yeah, it's not just one. It's like Facebook is trying to claim that they're going to create like their Metaverse platform is going to be like this virtual reality world, which you can only access with their Oculus, which is kind of bullshit. Because the Metaverse is accessible. Like, someone that is only able to use their cell phone should be able to successfully participate in the Metaverse. They do. They already do. Yeah, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Index finger's the best. I gotta check that one out. I don't know what that is. Oh, I've been on the FBI watch list for a long time. Yeah, Facebook is changing their name to Meta because they're trying to co-opt the concept of the Metaverse. But the Metaverse has been actually like articulating itself and forming itself for years now. Pretty much since the beginning of Bitcoin, which introduced the concept of decentralization. Yeah, you'll definitely watch YouTube videos in the Metaverse. YouTube videos are a part of the Metaverse. YouTube is a place where you discover things and experience things from the Metaverse. Yeah, they can design 3D video landscapes. So those will be cool. Those will be fun and engaging ways to participate in the Metaverse, but they won't be the Metaverse itself. Like, the Metaverse is... it's everything all together. Yeah. And we can't say exactly what it's going to be like, because it's going to be lots of different things. Trash. What are you talking about? Facebook trash? Yeah, the whole web. I mean, So it's basically just it's web 3.0. It's web 3, right? So you had web 1.0, and that was where we would experience the internet only as receivers of information. And that information was distributed to us through siloed channels. It was like, I go to a blog for this information. I go to Twitter for this information. I go to this news website for information. Web 2.0 was social media, where all of a sudden we became creators. Like the individuals became creators of content and information. Yet, everything was still siloed. Bitcoin, come on. You jump up yourself. Don't sit down there and cry. Go sit on your bed. Go sit on your bed. Oh, yeah. I'm trying to come up here. Yeah, 2.0 was like social media where everything, like we became content creators, but it was still siloed. Our experiences between each of those platforms, we had to manage manually, going to each platform to do each thing. The Metaverse is going to include a lot of new cool tech, including virtual reality and 3D shit. But it's also really just meaning that, like, we are hyper content creators, and the exchange of information and experiences and communities within each of the platforms are going to be seamlessly moving around. It sounds like a horrible experience. The Metaverse, of course, it can be filled with ads, just like any place can have an ad. Like, the ads aren't going to change. The platforms aren't going to change. They're still going to be the same platforms and everything. It's just... Whoever said the rhyme did the crime. I don't know who said that. You want to call your pet Bit Connect? That's funny. I named my pet Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin baby boy. He's begging to come sit on my lap. I'm sorry, I get annoyed by him. I'm just, you know, like he sits on my lap and he wants to like take over my arms. But I need my arms to do things. See, he's looking at my hand. He's like, give me your hand. I want to sit on top of your arms. And disable me from doing anything. Alright, y'all, this has been real. I am gonna go. I appreciate y'all. This has been good fun. I look forward to seeing y'all again. Next week, yes, I may be... Oh, next week is Christmas Eve. Okay, I'm definitely not streaming on Christmas Eve. But the week after that, I will do a stream researching deeply about, like, how much sex we gotta be having. Like, how much sex should we be having? They can make a dog metaverse. There is a dog metaverse. Yeah, nice evening to everybody. Yeah, y'all are awesome. So nice. It's always so nice to stream to Reddit. I like y'all. You know, I get some wild comments every now and then, but y'all are generally really cool. But I hope y'all have a great weekend, and yeah, I'll be seeing you next week sometime. Be cool, be safe, rest well, drink water, don't get COVID. Alright, Twitch, I'm just gonna end the stream on y'all.